Welcome to Faith, Facts, Fiction, and Fun, a podcast where we'll bring you current information, current news, facts about leadership, the truth about what's going on. We'll tell you some facts. We may tell you a little fiction, but all in all, we want to have fun. Stay tuned as we get ready to start. Welcome. This is Sam McEwen. I am your host for today. I pray that you are having a wonderful day. I want to talk to you a little bit about why we do this. In my last session, I talked to you about how we got here. I talked about our journey from Cheyenne to Florida and some stops in between and some of the reasons that we came down here. And now I would like to talk to you about why I'm even doing this podcast, why I do what I do, the training that I offer. A few years ago, my wife and I were in a good place when it came to business and work and things like that, but in a bad place when it came to finances. Like many, many others, we had been through some business ups and downs. We had been through some job ups and downs when it comes to economy. You know, from time to time, things go south. And when you are in an area in the country that depends pretty much on oil and gas revenue, when the oil and gas revenue is down, then the jobs go down. We had made some decisions business-wise, and they didn't work out. We lost a business through a variety of errors. I'm not saying it was anybody's fault in particular. We made some bad choices, and we opened the business in 2008. So just think about what was going on around then. Long story short, I ended up financially in the absolute worst place I'd ever been in my life. We had the opportunity at that point in time to take a class called Financial Peace University, which is a class that Dave Ramsey does. It was gifted to us by my wife's employer at the time, who was Westgate Dental, Dr. Benji. And he donated that to all of his employees. So we kind of all took the class together. Now, I had known Dave and I had been working in and around financial peace and understood the concepts, but had never quite grasped all there was to it. So we went through the class. We had a really good time. We learned a lot. Did we implement everything at the time? No, we did not. What I didn't realize at the time was that without someone there to guide you and direct you, a coach, a mentor, a mastermind group of some sort, there was no way we were doing it on our own. Very few families who go through Financial Peace University have the intestinal fortitude to follow through. So they're left hanging at the end of the class. Now, they're given ways to contact coaches. They're given ways to go forward. Dave Ramsey has all the tools that anybody would ever need. You go on his website, anything and everything you need to get to a point of financial peace and prosperity. The problem is most people don't know how to use those tools. Most people don't know how to do a zero-based budget. Most people don't even understand what a zero-based budget is. It doesn't mean you don't have any money, although some folks, when they get down to it, they don't have any money. What it means is you've told every dollar that you earned where to go. And, you know, sometimes I think the mental block is that we don't like being told where to go, so we don't like to tell our money where to go, you know? So anyway, we decided that we needed some help. So I talked to a few folks. I didn't realize that there were opportunities for people to coach, or to coach me and to coach us, until I actually went back on the site and found the Financial Coach Master Training. I thought that it would be an excellent idea to do that. I understood the concepts, and here's something about me. I learn more when I teach than when I study or when I'm being taught. So I signed up for the class. I went, learned a whole lot more. You know, when you're taught by the likes of Chris Hogan and Dave Ramsey and the team up there at Ramsey Solutions, you have no choice but to learn. And so that's what happened. That's how I started my coaching business. Now, my coaching business has evolved into quite a few other lines, and I really, really, really enjoy the financial coaching. But my passion is leadership, sales, and diversity training. Now, I got into that line with the John Maxwell team and with Paul Martinelli in Empowered Living. I probably spend more time with Empowered Living, going through the Fully Resourced program, the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion programs, DISC for communication styles. And I really, really enjoy working with folks along those lines, just because it's a different thought process and a different mindset. If you go back to the financial coaching with individuals and families, usually they're in a crisis situation. Now, the really rewarding part is that by the time we get done, they're no longer in a crisis mode. They are operating well within their budget, well within their means. They're putting money away. They're saving for retirement or the house that they want to buy. And they're well on their way to financial freedom, financial independence, financial peace. So that's very rewarding. Not very lucrative. Let's face it, coaches should get paid, and they should get paid very well. If I got paid on the percentage of money that I saved people or the percentage of money they were going to have when they retire, I would have retired a long time ago. I know I have to my credit at least 8 families that will retire as millionaires, well above that, but let's suffice it to say millionaires. They'll retire as millionaires because they followed the coaching, the principles, the practices, and the things that we laid out for them. Now, lest you be confused about what coaching really is, let me boil it down to you. I help you see what you can't see, won't see, and don't want to see. So think about that. One of the greatest basketball coaches ever was John Wooden. You know, what coach would do is he would bring a ball player in. He'd give him a basketball and all on the court, all by himself, and say, do a shoot around. Just shoot. Whatever your heart desires. And Coach Wooden would watch him for a couple hours, all the while making mental notes, some written notes, but trying to determine the player's strengths and weaknesses. Well, most ball players don't see their weaknesses. And so Coach would help them see the weaknesses, but then develop plays around their strengths. So they were aware of their weaknesses because Coach helped them see them, but then develop plays so that as they grew in their careers and as they moved on in the basketball world, they played to their strengths. So Coach would help them see what they couldn't see on their own. And that's what I do. When it comes to finances, you know, there's all sorts of reasons why folks aren't going forward with their finances. You know, there's things we don't talk about in polite society. And if you were raised in the era that I was raised in, you were told not to talk about religion, politics, or money. And if you think about today's society, the three areas that we have the most trouble in and that divides us the most is politics, religion, and money. Imagine that. So, I do this because I see success when people follow the processes and the program. I business coach because business owners, entrepreneurs, get into a state where they can't see the forest for the trees. They are so busy building their business and working in their business that they forget to work on their business. Once they remember to start working on their business, then we can open up their eyes and they can see the trees. They can see the big picture. They can see the 30,000 foot view, and then they can begin to work on their business, not in their business. We really enjoy it. My wife and I do this together on a lot of different occasions. We really enjoy it when we can step back and see a client who has just taken off and just learned to grow their wings, and they're just soaring. It just fulfills my heart. So on the personal side, one of the reasons I do this, obviously, is I'm seeking to create my own financial independence, my own financial peace. My wife and I live on a budget. Sometimes we make mistakes on the budget. It is what it is, okay? And we have to go back and adjust. We don't always agree. We don't always agree on what should be on the budget, what shouldn't be in the budget, and why can't we do X, Y, Z? Well, that's where my coach comes in and says, this is what you need to look at. What do you think? Coach doesn't do the budget for me, and I won't do a budget for you, but gives a lot of insight. Same way on the business side. But I do this because I genuinely like to see the look on people's face when the light bulb comes on, when they understand that now they can get going forward. When a couple comes together after they've gone through the DISC program and they look at each other and they say, oh my, now I understand where you're coming from. Now I understand why you get so upset when I talk like this. Now I understand. Now you understand where I'm coming from. And in businesses, I worked with a client the other day that there's only 4 of them in their office, and they got along well, but there were so many gaps in their communication because they had 4 different communication styles. And with the DISC, they were able to put that all together and say, okay, now I know how to talk to her. Now I know how to talk to him. Now I know how to interact with my entire team. It's just phenomenal when that stuff comes together. So that's why I do it. Personally, why I do it, like I said, the financial peace and the financial independence that comes long term, because a coaching business and a speaking business is a long-term investment. But I want to leave a legacy for my family. I want to leave a legacy for my children's children's children. 3 generations out. I want great, 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 great grandchildren whom I probably will never meet to know that Rita and I positively impacted many, many people. I want to leave a legacy. Do you want to leave a legacy? You should. You should want to leave a legacy. And we can help you do that. You'll find in the notes, you'll find on the podcast, you'll find my email address, possibly a link to my calendar. But leave me a comment, leave me a note. You can reach me at sam@aliveandatpeace.com. That's sam@aliveandatpeace.com. Through our website, Sam and Rita Live. That's .com also. But all in all, you have to grow yourself. Nobody else is going to help you do it. Nobody's going to do it for you. Your company's not going to do it for you. Bring somebody alongside. Whoever it is, a mastermind group, a coach, to help you grow. But if you have questions, you want to talk to me, feel free to reach out. This has been Sam McEwen. Haven't had a little bit of fun yet. A lot of fact, a little bit of faith. No fiction today. But going forward, we will have faith, facts, fiction, and some fun. Live intentionally and be very, very, blessed, my friends.